Intensive reading is another important sub-skill which is quite different from extensive reading. It involves reading in detail but with specific aims and tasks in the mind of the reader as well as in the mind of the teacher if it is being done within the classroom. It could be compared with extensive reading, which focuses on reading for pleasure or reading for general understanding. Intensive reading would focus on certain skills, which I'll explain in a while. One example which could be given to explain intensive reading may be reading a short text in order to find information within it and to put that information in a chronological or historical order. So this could be one small drill in intensive reading. Why we should introduce intensive reading sequences in a classroom? As I said earlier, it focuses on enhancing students' specific skills. For example, reading for a slightly general idea or gist of the text that is skimming, or scanning for a specific information which is the goal of the reading. And it may also be used to enhance students' communicative abilities by focusing on certain communicative functions which have been emphasized within the text. Or it may also allow students to focus on certain linguistic items or specific uses of the language which has been highlighted within the text. It depends on the choice of the teacher and the students themselves sometimes. Intensive reading activities involve filling in the gap or ticking true or false when skimming for a specific information. It also involves scanning a text to match various headings to the paragraph, or scanning jumbled paragraph in order to arrange them in a proper order. Roles of a teacher in intensive reading classrooms are also very important. They include teacher as an organizer. He arranges the activities of intensive reading in the classroom. It tells his students the purpose of their reading, and he makes sure that students stick to that purpose throughout the activity. Therefore, he gives clear instructions to his students how to perform that activity within the scope of the purpose allotted to them. And he also explains how long they need to do it or how many times they need to do it. He's also the observer when students doing the activity. He does not interrupt his students unnecessarily because this interruption may be counterproductive. And he observes a student's progress sometimes silently and keeps his feedback till the end. In this way, he is also feedback organizer. He checks whether students have completed a task with the purpose allotted to them or not. And he also compares the various answers produced by the students during an intensive reading activity. He may also ask students to share their information with each other, which they have drawn from the text. This could be a part of certain intensive reading activity. And in this way, teacher may be able to know the comprehension problems confronted by students during the activity. So this feedback organization may be critical for a good intensive reading activity. He's a prompter. He could prompt his students to notice various language uses given in the text. In this way, he could bring their attention towards some key language learning. Question of vocabulary learning is critical in intensive reading activities because while a teacher would be asking, it's a paradox that during such activities, teacher would be expecting students to develop a general understanding of the passages given to them for reading, whereas students might be worried about certain linguistic items which they do not know, and they might be interested in knowing their meanings first. There could be a solution to such problems because Since this is so natural to students to be worried about such things, a teacher may ask his students to read once or twice for general understanding, and then allow or give them some time to ask for vocabulary items as well. However, he can always keep a check on the time allotted to such activities. Teacher should work on enhancing students' participation in such activities. Therefore, he should keep an eye on the effective responses of the participants or students to the content which is being offered to them. He should also create an environment where students may create their own comprehension tasks instead of following only those which have been prescribed in the book. He could also introduce jigsaw reading, which is important, where students read different texts, share their information which they have gathered from those texts with each other, and then piece together to make a complete story. So these are various ways through which we could enhance our students' intensive reading skills, which is a key sub-skill in the overall development of reading skills.